early opportunities for us, if we move ahead with the transaction, we need to consolidate our record storage countywide. We are in leased facilities, and the warehouse would work well for consolidating our record storage. So that would be one of the possible early success opportunities. We would do this in phases, probably take 2 to 3 years. So the county's not going to evacuate downtown at all in the near term or the long term. To the extent that we move people out of this location, it would be a relatively limited number of people. Maybe at the most 150 or 200 people would move from this location to there. This building that we're in now, we're on the ground floor, what we call the government center, will remain fully occupied, but it might provide the opportunity for us to get our district attorney out of modular portable facilities and or our public defender, both of whom are in this vicinity, but operating out of temporary portable space. And if we were to, for example, move the Resource Management Agency to Schilling, that might allow us to move the district attorney into this building and get out of those portables sooner than later. We have a fallback plan that we're working on, kind of an expensive plan, that would remodel the east-west wing of the courthouse and adapt that to administrative use for the district attorney. It's quite expensive and it will take quite a long time to do that. So this might afford an opportunity for us to be able to deal with that situation sooner than later. There could conceivably be some efficiencies gained through co-locating departments, and as I mentioned, the ability to move some of our operations out of modular portable sooner than later. There are some challenges associated with the site, certainly. And at this point, we have more questions than answers. We readily admit that. We're just getting going on an appraisal of the property, for example, an assessment of the property from an architectural perspective, an environmental perspective, ADA perspective. We want to make sure we know what we're getting into before we recommend that the board even think about moving further. And we need time to do those evaluations. Site access is one of the things that we'll have to look at closely because, as you all know, that's in the packing house district, and there are a lot of semis, and particularly this time of the year, a lot of traffic. We have to make sure that that would be manageable and workable and safe for our employees and customers were we to do this. So that's one of the major issues that we have started to work on, accumulating data, and we will address before we make a recommendation to the board. It's an organizational change issue for us internally. If this is prospectively a good change, change is still difficult. Even good change is hard. So we have to deal with that aspect of it and work with our employees to make sure their concerns are addressed as well. And as I indicated earlier, we have to make sure we understand and appreciate the economic impact on the local commercial real estate market and the local community from a business perspective, including downtown. The county is committed to working productively with the city of Salinas on their very worthwhile and worthy downtown revitalization program. The county not too long ago bought 20 East Alice South, for example, remodeled it, and we housed our probation department in that location. So the county has been committed to working with the city of Salinas on downtown. We will continue to do that. We're a partner with them right now in a joint parking and traffic study for downtown that feeds into the work that they want to do, and we want to help them with to revitalize and improve downtown. County will not abandon downtown Salinas. I understand the anxiety about it, though. We have to make sure that we thoughtfully and carefully address those issues as we go through this. Over the next 60 days, we plan to complete our due diligence, facility assessment, property appraisal, a financial analysis, and at the conclusion of that due diligence period, we will take the issue to the board. At this point, if it obviously makes sense, we perhaps would recommend approval. If it's close, and more likely it'll have pros and cons, and we'll present the board with those pros and cons so the board can make a decision with regard to whether or not we would proceed. Finally, just in closing, and I appreciate your indulgence as we've gone through this, it's my opinion that the transaction will not move forward unless we can satisfactorily deal with kind of three issues. It has to make financial sense for the county from a business operations perspective. It needs to make financial sense for the taxpayers and save taxpayer funds over time. And it must provide the opportunity for us to improve the way that we provide service to our citizens. And those three things are imperative in my view. And if we're not able to do that, then we shouldn't recommend it to the board. We need some time to complete our due diligence, and again, we admit that we have kind of more questions than answers at this point. We've heard from some of you with regard to some of the questions that you already have, and we look forward to hearing more. If you'll notice on your handout, we have a web address where the public can provide comments, shilling place-comments at co.monterey.ca.us. We would be glad to take those comments for those who are here, those who are not here but might be able to see the televised replay. I think it may be televised live, as a matter of fact. So if you have comments, feel free to go to that address and submit them to us, and we will be synopsizing all of that for our board.